Good morning, everybody. It is time. Are we ready? Are y'all ready for some pure modern? I for one, am very excited about today. The theory behind the tournament is that if supplemental products were never introduced, what would modern look like without those supplemental products? LOTR is not legal. No Horizon sets. Yeah, regular ban list just without the Horizon sets. There are 49 players in today's event. 6 rounds, cut the top 8. We're gonna watch the previous champion. We're gonna watch Drake battle because Drake is the defending champion. All right, we have round 1. I'm gonna get Decklists pulled up so we can take a look at who we are watching. So once again, we have on the top of your screen Drake Haven, who is our defending champion. They took down the last event with Amulet Titan, and they have decided to bring a deck that cannot lose to Amulet Titan, and in the form of Demir Mill. And on the bottom of your screen, we have M. Ritchie, who is playing what appears to be 8 key. We got some Astral Cornucopias, Core Tappers, Karn the Great Creators, Manifold Keys, Voltaic Keys, and yeah, this appears to be pretty much the exact same deck that you would see in normal Modern, so we'll have to see how this goes. Yes, just said it's basically if like the theory behind the tournament is that if supplemental products were never introduced, what would Modern look like without those supplemental products? Where do you find this? We are hosting it on Melee. You can type !pure, and because I made the deck list public, you should be able to see all of the deck lists for today's event already because I've already started the tournament. All right, what do we have here? We got some crabs, some crabby boys. 2 crabby lads. Attack with Crab Flex. Look, if you're playing with Ruin Crab and you don't send with it, are you really playing Ruin Crab? That is a turn 3 Mystic Forge here for M. Ritchie. Well, this one didn't have haste, you know. You can't give this thing haste. It would be way too broken. Can you imagine Ruin Crab with haste? Tasha's Hideous Laughter. 17 cards have entered the exile zone. This seems to be a tough matchup here. You know, one thing that I will mention, I was looking at Decklists last night, and quite a few people have registered Mill, and it kind of makes sense, right? If we kind of look at the trajectory of how the tournaments and formats have been going, we had Death Shadow do very well at the first event, then we had Dredge do well at the second one, and then the last couple have been mostly Amulet Titan and Amulet Titan / Dredge, and a little bit of Death Shadow. But then you have to figure out, like, if Amulet Titan's the best deck, then probably a good time to be playing some Ruin Crabs. So it kind of makes sense. I like how we already kind of have an evolving metagame, even though we're only 5 tournaments in, which is pretty cool. Well, Ruin Crab can't target yourself, so you'd have to only play Hedron Crab. No free elementals. Yeah, no free elementals, no Scion of Draco. The real question is how many people decided to show up with Emrakul the Eon's Torn. 2 meta decks. Is this pure modern meta? Who knows? Maybe. I don't know about y'all, chat, but I really, really enjoy hosting these tournaments. I find them very, very interesting. So they're actually not playing Tronland Spirit Squad. Forest, Tendo Icebridge, Gemstone Caverns, Blast Zone, Boseiju, Inventor Sphere, and the Mycosynth Gardens. Would creature decks be better in this environment? When you say creature decks, what exactly do you mean by that? Somebody registered humans. One brave soul has decided to sleeve up the champion of the parishes. Why doesn't Death Channel line up well with Titan? You got bounce spells that could be effective against Titan plan. I think it's the issue of Titan being too fast. Like we saw in the last event, where this is the 5th one of these we've done, and in the last event we kind of saw that Titan. It appeared that Titan was good against Death Shadow, and maybe that's just because they were well prepared. You know, not exactly sure. I have located the humans player. Yeah, there's somebody registered elves too. There is an elf deck. How's the music level, by the way, chat? Music should be good. All right, Magistrate Scepter. Are we taking infinite turns? You know what's funny about taking infinite turns is there is potentially a cap on whether or not M. Ritchie can actually win this game with infinite turns, given that they only have 9 cards in their library. Now, I guess if you have enough mana, even if you only take a couple of turns, maybe that's fine, because you have Karn Ballista. So I guess it probably doesn't matter, right? And we have access to a trillion mana, right? Because we still have 2 Surge. We have 2 Surge nodes, which can go on Chalices, and then all the keys. Yeah, okay. All right, well, there you go. The mill player had a pretty good start, you know, Crab into Crab fetch lane, and the Tasha's on 3, but our core tapper player was able to assemble the necessary pieces. So we go to game 2 with Dice Factory up a game. Looking at sideboards here real quickly, just because, you know, again, this is a public decklist event. Looks like the core tapper slash what am I calling this deck? I forgot. Dice Factory. Dice Factory player doesn't have a lot of cards in the sideboard here. They've got, you know, Zerta Companion, 1 Blast Zone, and then a bunch of Karn targets, so not a lot of sideboarding there. And then for a mill player, Bridge, probably not very good. Extirpate seems decent. And after that, maybe Unmoored Ego, perhaps. Other than that, probably not a lot here. So sideboarding's not going to change a ton, but, you know, probably get these Fatal Pushes out of here and bring in some of the extirpates. All right, game 2. Drakehaven on the top on the play with Mill. Has got a turn 1 Hedron Crab. Richie has a turn 1 Tendo Ice Bridge, followed up by a Voltaic Key. Looks like, ooh, double Crab again. So Drakehaven channeling their inner Mill strength with opening double Crab back-to-back games. Although, I will say it was not good enough in game 1, so we'll have to see if it's good enough here. Do we have Crab number 3? Do we have Crab 3? I guess this could also be an extirpate. What do we extirpate here? I guess Karn? Interesting. I want to see... Yeah, I want to see if they can... Okay. So without Karn, I will say they do have 3 Scepters main, but without a Karn the Great Creator, what are we looking at for win conditions? Infinite turns and attack you with Core Tapper? Is that it? I mean, Core Tapper does turn sideways. Yeah, I guess you have to beat the crabs. Yeah, alright, well, it turns out... That's good enough. Okay, game 3. Well, these are fast. Okay, game 3. Alright, Dice Factory on the play, land in a Surge node, and the Cornucopia. What do we got for the mill player? Crabs all around. Turn 2, Power Conduit. So you get to go, what? Remove a counter from node, put a counter on Cornucopia, make mana, remove a counter from node, put a counter on Cornucopia. Cool. All right, we'll have to see if Drake has double Crab again. Ooh, only 1 Crab this time, and notably no black mana, which means that we cannot cast Extirpate if we have it. Dice Factory deck surprisingly does not have an Engineered Explosives in the sideboard. Interesting, okay. They got a Blast Zone, but you can't fetch that with Karn. Oh, okay, well... I guess we did need black mana, huh? I guess we did not need black mana, folks. Surgical Extraction Karn. So, as we talked about previously, we have to win the... Oh! Wait, why did we not reveal Zerta? Okay, hold on. Why did we not reveal Zerta? That means we must have boarded in the Cityscape Leveler? We must have boarded in the Cityscape Leveler because that's the only thing in the sideboard that would not be compatible with Zerta. Which I guess makes sense. If you expect your... I don't know, it's tough, right? If you expect your Karns... If you expect your Karns to get surgicaled or extirpated, you kind of want an additional win condition, but losing access to Zerta is actually kind of pretty bad, because infinite turns with Zerta can potentially still win this game. So, without Zerta, it's kind of tough. Yeah, I know Leveler has Unearth, but, like, I'm not saying that Leveler is bad, but I'm saying that losing Zerta is really tough. That's the problem here. I know that Leveler's good. Tasha's hit full 15, because 4 cards were already gone. So Tasha's did not hit the Leveler, so, you know, good news for Richie. Oh, Unearth is an activated ability. Right. Well, in that case, would it be board in? Paradox Engine? Pithing Needle? Torpor Orb? Huh. Weird. Those are the only three that aren't compatible with Zerta, right? Interesting. I forgot that Unearth was an activated ability. Right. Yeah. I didn't realize that it was an activated ability. For some reason, I thought it was like an alt cost thing, but we got a second Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Richie's down to 15 cards in library. I want to see if this one hit the leveler, if we brought in the leveler. Yep, leveler gone. So no leveler and no card. This game is going to be a little tough to win here for Richie. Maybe they boarded in Zerta. They made white mana. Tick up Blast Zone to 4. Giga Chad. Absolute Giga Chad play. Yeah, they're not going to break in Bridge against Mill. It could also be a misclick. Maybe they just, like, tried to reveal Zerta, but they just misclicked. Alright, what do we got here? Okay, we have brought in the Walking Ballista, which could potentially be good enough if Drakehaven does not have the Fatal Pushes in the deck, which we can presume might have gone out. 13 cards in library for M. Richie. Yeah, it could have also brought Needle. Oh, that's what it is. So M. Richie decided to board in the Needle, which would remove their ability to reveal Zerta as a companion, because they wanted Needle to be able to name the lands, I guess? Yeah, I guess they might have gone above 60. Yeah, so it appears that they've boarded up to 65. But I don't know, losing the Zerta is kind of tough. Drakehaven typed in chat, gotta count real quick. What are we counting? Counting? Oh, they're counting the mana value. I see. Quick maths. 50 plus 16 is 66 plus 5 is 71? Yeah. I mean, I assume if you had Tasha's, you would just jam there. So I wonder what they were counting. It probably wouldn't be Tasha's. I don't know if they care about Blast Zone. I guess there's 2 Jace the Perfected Minds, but they probably just, okay, they don't have Fatal Push, because you would assume if they had Fatal Push, they would main phase it to not let Richie untap and activate the Ballista. You have Extirpate on Ice Bridge. Okay, so I guess you just wanted to remove more cards from the library. That kind of makes sense now. Yeah, because you knew there were more copies of Ice Bridge in the library, and there's not more copies of Blast Zone. So that's fair. I guess that's the counting that we were doing there, to see like what the numbers worked out to be. So how many counters can we put on this Ballista? Depends on if we have a way to untap the Cornucopia in hand, which I'm not certain if we do. But if we did, you could go Power Conduit, remove a counter from... That works, right? Remove a counter from permanent. Yeah, okay, so remove a counter here. That's 5. Tap for 5. 1. -1 is 4 to cast the untapper. -1 is 3. Untap 8, 9, 10. Which I believe is only 2 counters, so it's only going to make this a 5/5, I think. Ooh, okay. So can we take an extra turn here? How many counters is this? 3? No, I don't think we could have taken an extra turn, right? Because you go Conduit, remove a counter here, 1. You go tap this, 2nd. Yeah, you can't quite put a... You should get untap Conduit. Yeah, you can only get the 2, I think. You needed another untapper there. Singman says, can they get enough mana to win in their upkeep, though? That is a good question. So as of right now, we can put 2 counters on Ballista, right? 4 mana from Cornucopia, untap it. 7, 8 mana, counter, that's 6, but Drake to 12. I doubt it. Ooh, we're not putting a counter on Ballista. I wonder why. Does that mean we're trying to Scepter then? It's the only reason you wouldn't activate to put a counter on Ballista there, right? Because you go end phase, Cornucopia, counter on Scepter, Forest, untap Cornucopia. Well, though, then you can't untap the Scepter, right? Oh, okay, well, that's going to be good enough. I wonder if we had put a counter on Ballista there. We could have put 2 counters on Ballista. Drake would have been at 12. The next upkeep, how much mana do we have? So we have Drake at 12 with a 6/6 Ballista. Then you go Conduit for 1, 7/7. Cornucopia for 1, 8/8. Key, untap, Cornucopia again, that's 9/9. I think we were 2 or 3 counters short of being able to set up that kill. But Drakehaven, who is your defending champion, is going to take down our match 2-1. Congratulations to Drakehaven for winning round number 1. All right, well, there you go. Drakehaven is our victor for the first round. We definitely will have some backup matches here. We have to watch this match. Jay, you guys are in for a treat on this one. You guys are in for a treat. We have dual decks, Matter Reshaper versus Invisible Stalker. Who wins? Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, Mill is a gutsy call if you expect people are going to play the Emrakul, but it turns out that nobody played the Emrakul. So, like, you have to really meet it, and you have to kind of assume that nobody's playing the Emrakul. I guess there are answers to Emrakul, right? There's Lane Line of the Void, Crypt Incursion, Ravenous Trap, things like that. There's plenty of answers to the Emrakul, but it is very difficult. Like it requires the Mill player to actually give a shit to be able to beat the Emrakul. You played against 4 Emrakul main this round. Who was playing 4 Emrakul main? I don't remember that. Mikey was playing Through the Breach. Yeah. Nice. Doesn't Tasha's get around Emrakul? I mean, kind of, but if you Tasha's and hit an Emrakul early, then it has mana value 15, so you're only going to get, like, 4 cards off of it tops, right? Like, there's a likelihood against Emrakul that you cast Tasha's and get 3 cards. Sometimes 2, right? So it kind of gets around it, but not really. Unless you're lucky and hit the Emrakul as, like, the last card. Then it's good, but... That's true, you do exile the Emrakul. If you hold CTRL and then click on a spell, you should have full control. Matter Reshaper versus Invisible Stalker. Who wins? Alright, we get a map here. What are we mapping for? Don't really need Tron. This is a weird game. For now, Blades Queen, the ban list is currently the same. That might change for future events, though. And by might change, I mean almost certainly 100% will change. Yeah, it looks like E-Tron. See if we can pull up the deck lists. Alright, let me go... What table was this? This was table this table. Let's look at this E-Tron deck list. I like how it's labeled as Dimir on Melee. Alright, what do we have here? Karn the Great Creator, Reshaper, Smasher, Thought-Knot, Ulamog, Map, Mindstone, Chalice, All Is Dust, Dismember, Tron. I mean, this just looks like normal E-Tron, right? Just E-Tron stuff. E-Tron doing E-Tron things. When is Splinter Twin getting unbanned? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, folks. Dimir Control with Ayavugan. Yeah, this is 2024 Dimir Control. Alright, our E-Tron opponent is our E-Tron player is located in Endbringer. Will that maybe bring the end to this game? Sigarda's Aid has entered the battlefield. Do we have a Colossus Hammer? I guess the hammer is not lethal, right? Hammer on Stalker is only 11. I will say I'm pretty excited to see Invisible Stalker plus Sigarda's Aid. That does warm my heart. Yeah, we do have the Sus. We do have the Sus Hammer. We're also notably not dead to... Well, I guess the Blast Zone takes care of the Hammer, right? Hammer and the Aid. So you take 11, go to 3... And then you can Blast Zone to pop the Hammer and the Aid. This is a weird game. Very, very weird game. And Septimus is on 6, so they have to be a little bit careful about taking Matter Reshaper damage. What is this Phyrexia's Core doing here? Second artifact, gain a life. Swing with the Stoneforge. Yeah, I guess if you attack with the Stoneforge there, you put Mitchell to 2, and then next turn, even through the Blast Zone, you have theoretically a lethal attack. So you almost force Mitchell to hold back the Reshaper in that case. Now you have to bear with me because the deck names are a little non-descriptive to say, because I have not figured out a way to not make them non-descriptive. We are going for Karn instead of Blast Zone. Interesting. So I guess that means we're going to be Karning for Ensnaring Bridge? The only issue with Ensnaring Bridge is now you die to another hammer. right? Because of the Sigarda's aid. Interesting. I guess you're dying to hammer either way, right? If you hold up Blast Zone, you go attack with Stalker, pop Blast Zone. Well, no, because the aid gets blown up in combat, so this line does play around a second hammer. Interesting. Karn uptick on hammer would have been cute. Yeah, I mean, that line still loses to another Colossus hammer off the top. I don't know. I might have liked the Blast Zone line there. It's close. We are getting in there with Reshaper. I guess that kind of makes sense because you're dead to a hammer anyways. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I guess this line doesn't lose to Shadow Spear, right? Because the Nexus doesn't deal regular combat damage. Okay, well, you were losing to Steel Shaper's Gift. Well, again, if you had held up the Blast Zone, you weren't dying to Steel Shaper's Gift. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a judgment call, right? Where if you... Do you want to play around your opponent top decking another copy of Hammer? Tough to say. Tough to say. All right, folks, before we get started with the next round, I just wanted to say thank you to the sponsor of today's event, Heavy Play. Big shout out to Heavy Play. If you want to check out any of their products, ! Heavy Play in the chat. Use code DoomWake to get yourself a 10% discount. Thank you to Heavy Play for sponsoring this event. I appreciate you. This is our feature match for round number 2. We have the Geological Appraiser combo deck in the hands of Ali. Appraiser, Clones, Carnosaur, Binding, Eldritch Evolution, Mana Ramp in the form of Creative Outburst and Magma Opus. All this, basically the Pioneer deck with some fetch lands. And then they're playing against Spirits, which I would imagine is probably not a great matchup for Geological Appraiser, specifically because of the card Spell Queller. That could be a very, very big problem here for Ali, so we'll have to see how that goes. And Spirits on the play with an Aether Vial. Turn 1 Aether Vial does not get any better for Spirits. We got another Aether Vial here. Maybe not the best, but probably okay. And a fetch land here for Ali. Okay, most likely going to be getting a Triome here. Set up mana to be able to cast Leyline Bindings and whatnot. That is one thing to mention, is Leyline Binding does get around Spell Queller, which is kind of cool. I mean, it all kind of depends on whether or not the Spirits player can find those Spell Quellers, right? Like, yes, Spell Queller is really good against Geological Appraiser specifically, but, like, if you look at the rest of the Spirits deck, it's just a lot of stats. Wanderer's not doing that much. I guess Rattlechains can protect from a Binding. Shacklegeist not doing that much. Skyclave not doing that much. I guess Skyclave at instant speed with Vial can, like, even if the first Appraiser resolves and it hits a clone, you can respond to the clone, Vial in for 3, Skyclave hit the clone, and that stops the chain. So, yeah, I don't know. It probably does seem like a rough matchup here for Geological. That's a good point. Mausoleum Wanderer does also counter Eldritch Evolution, which is a combo starter, or a, combo chain card, so that could be relevant as well. A lot to think about here for Geological. I mean, the last round ended with 20 minutes left, so I don't think we're ever going over time. I would like to mention this. One thing I've noticed, and this is maybe a product of just the format itself, and one thing I've noticed over the past, this is the 5th of these tournaments that we've had, the rounds go extremely fast, and it feels like, to me, there is a lot more... I don't know the best way to describe it, but, like, a lot more two ships passing in the night kind of thing. And, I don't know. I understand people's, like, a lot of the reason that people like current Modern is because those free spells allow you to interact with your opponent in normal windows where you wouldn't be able to. So... And this format doesn't have that. That's also a good point. I don't know, though, because, you could argue that matches that involve Grief plus Not Dead, after all, go faster than any of these games. All right, so we have a Magma Opus cycled or channeled here for Ali, Geological Appraiser combination strategy, and Spectral Sailor not. So, we did talk about how this matchup was pretty bad before, but Ali is not currently under a lot of pressure. And that's maybe the saving grace for them. We're going to shock into Steam Vents here. And it appears that we are YOLOing. Alright, let's see if we have a Spell Queller here from Exeline. No Spell Queller. Do we have a Skyclave in response to a clone, perhaps? Okay, there's the clone. Do we have a Skyclave? I mean, you have to imagine the Spirits player's has got to have something, right? Looks like it is a Skyclave. Okay, this is exactly what we talked about. So, yeah, this clone is not going to be doing a lot here. Clone's going to go to the graveyard, and that is going to be the entire turn here for Ollie. Tough spot to be in. Facing down, you know, a little bit more pressure now. 2 Vials. Moorland Haunt, not doing a lot here. Let's see if we have a Lord. Shackle Geist. All right, we got a big attack here for 8 damage. Gonna fall. Allie's gonna go ahead and fall down to 6 life, and we will have to see if we can assemble the combo. Assemble. 4 cards in hand. Vial on 3. Vial on 2. What do you got, Ollie? Gotta have something. Now is the time. Do we have anything for Ollie? We are thinking and we are thonking. Yeah, I guess Carnosaur is the only way that you can beat Skyclave Apparition, because you can start copying the Carnosaur, but that line still doesn't beat Spellqueller. We're going to bedeck the Captain. I'm not sure what the intention of this is. Okay. I guess just to try to survive. So this bedeck is going to get countered. And do we have a land and a Geological Appraiser? That theoretically could do it, because that Vial is on 2, which means that they can't Vial in Spellqueller or Skyclave Apparition. Alright, does not look like we have the answer. That is going to be game number 1, going to Spirits player. Let's take a look at sideboarding, shall we? Sideboard here for Geological Appraiser. We have 3 Summoning Trap, kind of based, 3 Thought Distortion, 2 Commandeer, 2 Consigned to Oblivion, 2 Odds and Ends, a Cavern, a Storm-Keld Vanguard, and a Karuga. Probably wants to go... See, this is weird, right? Because the Summoning Traps are good against counter spells. Notably, Spellqueller does not counter the spell, right? I believe, if I'm correct on this, yes, it exiles the spell. So Spellqueller does get around Summoning Trap. Little awkward here. So that might not be something you want to go towards. Consigned to Oblivion can maybe help bounce like a Spellqueller, maybe Odds and Ends. So this is good against counter spells. Again, not good against Spellqueller, so not a lot here for the Geological player. And then if we look at the sideboard for Spirits, Forge Tender, probably not super relevant. Portable Hole, not relevant. Rest in Peace. Disdainful Stroke, maybe good against Trumpeting Carnosaur. Kataki's not really that great, so... Alright, we come in a little bit late here. This is a couple of turns into the fun. Spirits player's got an Aether Vial, a Cavern, and we have Ollie on the bottom, who has a couple of fetch lands. Remember, Ollie is playing Geological Appraiser. Exoline on the top is playing Spirits. We're doing some fetching. Perhaps cycling a Magma Opus. Maybe going for a turn 3 Geological Appraiser. Yeah, so folks, for people who are awaiting on their opponent, once the match timer hits 40, just submit the result as 2-0U. Show up within 10 minutes after the round timer starts. Submit the result as 2-0. Alright, so Ali had a turn 2 cycle Creative Outburst to make a treasure. Ooh, nice little cheeky play here. We're going to consign the Aether Vial. And it appears that is going to eat the Spellqueller. So here's the thing, right? Remember we had talked about there was a lot of good things that you could Spellqueller in from the Spirit side. As far as 2-drops are concerned, not a lot here, right? Rattlechains doesn't interact with the combo. Shacklegeist doesn't interact with the combo. Supreme Phantom doesn't. I guess you can Phantasmal Image the Trumpeting... Oh my god, is that going to happen? So once Ollie puts a Carnosaur into play, the opponent can Phantasmal Image the Carnosaur and then try to hit one of the other interactive pieces, like a Skyclave, maybe a Spellqueller. That could be kind of sick. So we'll have to see if that happens from the events. Avoid future no-shows. There you go. All right, we get an attack here for 4. 2 mana, perhaps trying to cast a Bedeck on the Spell Queller. We'll see if Exceline has a response to this. Maybe a Rattle Chains. Even a Supreme Phantom would actually... Oh, this is funny, because now you actually take more damage, because Supreme Phantom pumps the toughness of Spell Queller, and then Bedeck is not -3/-3, it's +3/-3. So this is going to make the Spell Queller a 3/4, and then this is going to make the Spell Queller a 6/1. So you're going to take 8 damage, fall down to 4, and you're still facing down the Vial on 2. It's a rough spot here for Snackbar. Yeah, I would say you gave it long enough. Oh, that's true. It pumps Rattle Chains too. Good point. So it's 9 damage. Yeah, true. It does, in fact, pump Rattle Chains. A lot of damage here. Monkey Brain, what table were you at? So there was another consign, and that was met with a Queller. Okay, so here's the thing, right? This looks bad for Ollie. You're taking 9 damage falling to 3. But if there is a Shockland and a Geological Appraiser, we're done here. This game can still be won by Ollie. Kind of wild that you fought through the double Spell Queller and the Supreme Phantom. I guess it's not a ton of interaction, but Ollie still has a chance here. We'll have to see if they find that untapped land plus Geological, and it looks like that is not the case, so congratulations to Exceline, advances to 2-0 over Ali Snackbar. Condolences, but that was a fun match. Okay, well, it might not be the best showing, but I want to show you guys this deck anyways, because it's cool as hell, alright? Even though this is maybe not the best matchup for them, I want to show you the deck list. Yes, you'll notice that your eyes do not deceive you. There is an Exarch of some variety in play. I want to show you guys this deck list because it's kind of a banger, even though they're about to get Twiddle Stormed. Ignore that part, okay? So the deck list here is Snapcaster Mage with Kiki, Deceiver, Exarch for you Splinter Twin enjoyers out there. But you also have Goryo's Vengeance alongside mill enablers like Thought Scour and Otherworldly Gaze to rebuy Kiki-Jiki for 2 mana. So you can say go end step Deceiver, Exarch, or Pestermite, untap Goryo's Vengeance Kiki, and then set up kind of like a twin adjacent combo decks or combo kill. So that's kind of cool. I like the look of this deck a lot. Like the concept behind it is really sweet. I feel like there's maybe not quite enough discard enablers. I maybe want to see like Tainted Indulgence or something along those lines. Yeah, that's a good point too. You can do it sorcery speed because you can go, if they tap out, you go Deceiver, Exarch, untap your land, then you have 2 mana for Goryos. All right, well, we're going to game 3, so we still have a chance to see some Splinter Twin action. For those of you who want to see the Twiddlestorm deck list, Wishclaw, Breach, Preordained, Tome Scour, Grim Tutor, Consider, Dream's Grip, Is It Charm, Otherworldly Gaze, Twiddle, Pact to Negation, Echoing Truth. All right, should be getting to game 3 here. There we go. Game 3, Splinter Twin. I want to see the twin combo once, just once. That's all I want. My entire day will be fulfilled if I see the twin combo once. Cauldron's kind of sweet with Kiki, yeah. All right, we got the twin player on the bottom of your screen on the play. Thoughtseize being cast here. We'll take a look at the hand after we resolve the Thoughtseize. Not a great hand. Twiddle, Tome Scour, and some lands. That hand was really relying on that Breach. I hope we get to see it. All right, Preordained drawn. Not a bad one here for Porkio or Porcaro. Should call it Pure Modern Foreground. Somebody had the idea to call it. What is the opposite of Horizons? I can't remember. Somebody had a good word for it. Valley Depths. No, there was a slightly more evocative word that somebody used, and I can't remember. It was a while ago. Somebody suggested it. Apparently, MTG Bot does not know. MTG Bot is not a connoisseur of the English language. Unfortunate, really. Zenith, that's what it was. Yes, Zenith Modern. What do you guys think about that name? It's a cool word, but it's not the most descriptive. I guess, I don't know. Pure, like, depending on how you look at it, maybe pure is also not descriptive. Zenith is kind of cool, though. I like that word. It reminds me of Green Sun Zenith. Yeah, I know, right? Well, if we unban Green Sun Zenith, then we can, properly call it Zenith Modern, because then everybody's going to play Zenith, right? Well, the best part is if you call it Zenith Modern, but then Green Sun Zenith is still banned. There's no confusion there whatsoever. Hewlett Packard sponsorship? No. Prehistoric Modern. What if we just called it the good old days? That just sounds like I'm an old man yelling up from my soapbox. Which maybe I am, Oh, alright, we have a Goryo's spotted. Goryo's jump scare. So if we have land, we need to untap land plus Exarch plus second Goryo's. Okay, we don't have that. We have a Thoughtseize. All widgets. I don't see any giveaways. Recent events, alert box, themes. I don't think you can do it through Streamlabs. Ooh, Deceiver Exarch. Do we have the combo? Combo jump scare? Combo jump scare. Moderation giveaways. Create giveaway. Giveaway description. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, cool. Well, we can maybe do a giveaway then. I think I figured it out. All right, let me message them back. All right, BB Gum has won the match. Did we do it? All of that stuff and I missed the combo? After all of that, trying to get giveaways set up, we have missed the combo. Folks, if you want to come back to the good old days of Modern, if you want to Deceiver Exarch people, boy, do I have the tournament for you. And shout out to BB Gum, by the way. You'll love to see it. I'm still feeling a little sick today, but I'm hanging in there, folks. If I sound a little different or under the weather, that's because I am. All right, Twiddlestorm or Convoke. Round 3 predictions are live. All right, remember, we have Mason Clark. Thank you to Mason Clark for participating in today's event, as well as all of our competitors. Mason Clark on Boros Convoke, and then we have Twiddlestorm on the bottom of your screen from Death from Above. So, pull up the deck list here. We can look at those in between games, rather. All right, Mason 6'2 Clark is going to start us off with a Thraben Inspector, a couple of cantrips here from Death from Above. So again, Death from Above's deck list is Twiddlestorm, most of what you're used to in Modern, Lotus Fields, ways to untap Lotus Fields, Underworld Breaches, Tome Scours, things like that. So trying to assemble Lotus Field plus a bunch of ways to untap. And then Mason's deck is basically just a Pioneer deck with some Memnites, where you're playing Thraben Inspector, Memnite, Ornithopter. The Convoke creatures, which include Venerated Luxodon and Knight Errant of Eos, pairing those alongside Goblin Bushwhacker, and then Warden of the Inner Sky as well, utilizing Gleeful Demolition and Kuldotha Rebirth to make some tokens. He's not really 6'2", it's just a meme, he's 5'8". I don't believe you, Niall. Next time I go to Mason and next time I go to an event, I'm gonna bring a measuring tape and I'll prove that theory incorrect. All right, turn 2, Knight Errant of Eos. See, the measuring tape that I'm going to bring is just every line on the measuring tape says 6'2", So it'll make him feel better. All right, Knight Errant's going to reveal, I think I saw a Bushwhacker. Oh, I did see a Bushwhacker. I saw 2 Bushwhackers. Quick math, how much damage? 6, 12, 14. That appears to be 19 damage next turn. 19 damages, folks. Well, Death from Above can kill on turn 3, float some mana, play a Lotus Field, have a way to untap it, go from there. We'll have to see if that is the case. Snap both in the bottom from that preordained. Does not look like we have everything rolled up. Missing a piece, it appears. Let's see if we can find the piece. Ill Will coming in with a very generous 10 gifted subs. Thank you very much for the 10 gifted, Will. That is incredibly generous of you. Shall we take a look at the deck lists, perhaps? All right, we have our Death from Above, rather, the Lotus Field player. So we have Leyline of Sanctity, Pact of Negation, Echoing Truth, Void Snare, Empty the Warren, Stasis Oracle, Tome Scour, Breach. These one-ofs, I think, are mostly here for Wish, so probably not going to want to bring in those. Echoing Truth seems particularly good against a horde of Goblin tokens, and then potentially Void Snare if there are hate permanents in the Convoke sideboard. Speaking of which, we have Auriok Champion, Mana-Tive. Absolutely love to see it. Don't love that you, I don't know. Anyways, it's Mana-Tive. Based card. Deafening Silence, good. Lean and Arbiter, probably not that great. And then maybe a Rest in Peace and a Graph Digger's Cage. So, bunch of good sideboard cards here for Mason. 3 Mana-Tive, 2 Deafening Silence, a Rest in Peace, and a Cage. Definitely going to want to look towards those. All right, so we have Death from Above on the play this time. Steam Vents, Consider. Mason with an Inspector on 1. And this time we have a tutor here, Wishclaw Talisman, which is going to allow Death from Above to search for any card in their library. Go ahead and put that in the hand. Maybe getting a Lotus Field. Maybe if you already have the Lotus Field, maybe a way to untap it. And we'll have to see if Mason has one of those key sideboard cards here, and we certainly do. That is a sideboard card if I've ever seen one. That qualifies. So if we brought in the sideboard cards, we could Wishclaw Talisman for a Void Snare. The problem is if we Wishclaw Talisman for Void Snare, Mason can just use the Talisman and get another sideboard card. Okay, we're going to get the Lotus Field. Just going to put Lotus Field into play and pass. Mason has won game number 1. Mason had turn 2 Knight Errant off of some tokens, hit double Bushwhacker, and that was good enough. So Mason is up a game here. Doubters will say it's rigged. I cannot confirm, but doubters will say it's rigged. This is what happens when you bet against somebody who's 6'2". All right. Gleeful Demolition. And do we have a Convoke creature here to follow up with? We're tapping a red mana. You give me an artifact? Well, thanks. I guess I'll use that artifact for my own good. Dude, Gleeful Demolition blowing up Wishclaw Talisman, that's nice. You have it backwards, he's 2/6. Are you sure about that, Niall? I'm not sure I believe you. I feel like you are lying to me. You would never lie to me, though, right? Keep him in your pocket. Your pockets are 2 feet deep?
Bruh.
Attack for 3. Oh, did we just see Echoing Truth on Goblin tokens? Let's go. Absolutely slammed. All right, more sideboard cards. Funny enough, Death from Above is at 9, and this is 3 power. Quick maths on that. 9 divided by 3 is 2-ish, something like that. All right, we got a Mishra's Bauble cycle here. Mishra's Bauble is going to pick up something. We got a fetch land crack here. Am I going to pre-release? Is the pre-release next weekend? Like next Sunday/Saturday? That is going to do it, folks, I believe. I don't think there's anything that can save Death from Above here. I guess Echoing Truth on Thraben Inspector could leave you alive at 1 life. Seems a little sus, though. All right, there you go. Mason Esports Clark advances to 3-0, just cleaning up the competition with Boros Convoke. See, when people think pure modern, this is what they assume pure modern is. You know, this is kind of what they assume. Maybe what I assume as well. Humans against Mill. How's this matchup go? I don't know. I do like that we have on the bottom of your screen Heraklinos. Heraklinos is a Giga Chad. Shout out to people who know that reference. All right, looks like we have the Mill player on the play, so Humans at least wins the last game. Not sure what game that we're walking into here. This is, our, I guess, backup match, but... Secluded Courtyard on Human, turn 1 Aether Vial. This is what dreams are made of, folks. What dreams are made of. Alright, get crabbed. Crab emojis. Crab emojis. Looking for crab emojis, please. 3 spells gone. Yeah, Mill's missing Fractured Sanity. I mean, that's kind of a... That's a pretty small... That's a small minus, though, right? You can still build a good Mill. Mill was... Believe it or not, Mill is the most played deck in this tournament, which is kind of wild to me. But it makes sense. If people are metagaming for previous tournaments, which we're getting to the point in the format where people are doing that, and Titan was the most played deck in the last tournament, which means people want to play Mill in this tournament. Mill's good against Titan, Visions to cycle. Not where you want to be on Visions. No, Archive Trap was in Zendikar, so you still have Archive Trap. Tasha's against Humans. This is going to be a big Tasha's, folks. Okay, 19. 19's doable. I mean, it's a lot, but it's doable. Battle of Wits. Battle of Wits is legal in Pure Modern. I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody... I don't know who needs to hear that information, but it is a legal card in the Pure Modern format. Six rounds, cut the top 8. 6 rounds, cut to top 8. All right, what do we got here? We got a Kite Sail Freebooter, taking a peek at the hand. What is the hand? We have selected Drown, and the hand is Visions, Drown, Echoing Truth. Okay. So we got a Noble Hierarch, it looks like here, and an attack for 4. I mean, it's going to be Timeless legal, right? I guess Alchemy is different. Do you guys think that they're going to put all the elementals? I know they spoiled Solitude, but I wonder if it's only going to be like 1 or 2 of them. Or if it's... I mean, it kind of wouldn't make sense to not do all 5. But I guess it would be kind of awkward if Fury was reprinted, because it's banned, Are we going to have, like, the... what was the card... Oh, man, what was the card that got reprinted in the Secret Lair? Uro, right? Where, like, they printed Uro, it got banned, but they already had the Secret Lair release. It was Uro, right? It was awkward because the Uro Secret Lair was printed after they banned Uro, as opposed to them printing Violent Upper Secret Lair and then banning it a year later. That's like, whatever, that's fine. But it was, like, very awkward that they released a product that had a banned card in it, which they normally wouldn't do that nowadays. Yeah, EI in the pre-com was awkward too, yeah. You can still play Expressive Iteration and Pioneer. You just have to play the exact pre-con. If you want to. I don't know why you would, but you can do that. Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic, same thing. Did GTA ever get banned in Standard? Because I remember GTA being in a pre-con, but I don't think they ever banned GTA, like way back in Standard. Obviously, it's banned in Modern, but I don't think they banned GTA in Standard. Yeah, it was not banned in Standard. Did they ban GTA in Block? I feel like they probably should have. You think GTA would be a safe unban? I mean, safe is not how I would describe it. I would call it a harmless unban, but there is a chance that it becomes too oppressive for the creature decks. Even though, as the format sits right now, I don't think it would be that great. But I wouldn't necessarily call it safe, because it can feel oppressive in the sense that if it's good, it will invalidate a specific, like, subset of archetypes. Now, you could argue that maybe Orcish Bowmaster and Ren and 6 and Lava Dart already do that stuff, but I'm not necessarily advocating for it. Like, I think the format is fine without it, but I don't think it would make, As the format currently sits, I think the format is currently too fast for GTA. But if the format ever slows down to a point where GTA is good, that card is fucked up. You know. All right, what do we have here? We got Meddling Mage, Champion of the Parish. We got our mill player at 8. Meddling Mage is naming Echoing Truth, which I believe is the last card in the mill player's hand. 13 cards in library for humans. Let's see if we can find a kill here. All right, what's the name with this one if the last card's Echoing Truth? Probably just the card that you're the most scared about, which I would imagine is Tasha's. Okay, that's a good name too. Yeah, Cryptic Incursion makes sense. You don't want Wigs to gain a bunch of life here. So now you force the chump block on Champion, falls to 5. I mean, you could theoretically die to Tasha's here. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I guess you can do this too and go to 2. Oh, but now you die to Lieutenant this way. You have a Lieutenant. You have a Meddling Mage. So this is going to put Wang to 1. Big top deck here. Do we have the Tasha's Hideous Laughter off of the top? Tasha's Hideous Keck W. I guess Heraclitos can probably just name Tasha's here, right? Yeah, they named Tasha's. The Cycle one is not legal because that was in Horizons. So that card is not legal. Like the mill spells in this deck list, just to kind of give you an idea. Glimpse, Tasha's, Archive Trap, and Craps, and then 1 Jace. I guess Jace could do it, right? Yeah, Jace could theoretically do it. You would need you need a land though, right? Because you can't pay 2 life for the Jace. Ooh, true. I guess Glimpse would do it because the Oboro. You go pick up the Oboro, play it 3, go to 10, then Glimpse. Yeah, Glimpse would do it. Oh my god, did they draw Glimpse? No shot. No way. Well, Jace isn't good enough because they're a 1. They can't pay life for Jace. Glimpse would do it here. 10 cards in library. Did Wanks draw it? We have Crypt Incursion and Tasha's Hideous Laughter both shut off, along with Echoing Truth, because we had that information that was in the hand from the Kite Sail. If we have Glimpse, it would be quite the slow roll. Not quite. Terraclinos advances, winning 2-0 over our mill player. That does seem like a pretty relatively good matchup for humans, so it does make sense to see humans take that one down. Speaking of Ice 9, is Ice 9 a card name? No, it's the username of the person who plays this deck. It's just like Red White Stone Rains. They certainly love themselves a Stone Rain. Okay, and we have 1 Red Black Burn, 1. Wait, no, this doesn't work. These aren't the deck lists they submitted. I have to go back here. Did somebody just get boiled?
Bruh.
Their Twiddle player. Where's Twiddle? Twiddle's up here. Marcus was on mill. Blue-red pile. Blue-red breach. Mikey. And then this is Etron. Is that really the first Titan player? That can't be. I thought somebody else was on Amulet. Oh, I guess not. All right. Is Duncan really the only Amulet player? There was one other list, but they dropped. And then we have Convoke and Spirits. So 3 Convoke, 1 Spirits. Okay, this is just like pen and paper. Look at all the deck lists. So this is maybe not the most accurate, but that's what I have so far. So 3 Twiddlestorm, 3 Red-Black Vamps, 2 Hammer, 2 Humans, 5 Mill, 3 Amalia, 2 Dice Factory, 3 Boros Convoke, and then everything else was a one of. Some of these I may have written down twice, I don't remember, but no Phoenix players. What are the rules on IDing? Good question. I don't remember if I allowed IDs. Let me just check. I will check that. Is that an Aurelia's Vindicator? Let him cook. Let him cook. I did? Okay. Yeah, so you can ID. I allowed last time. Okay. And I believe I did this time. I just want to make sure. Yeah, you can ID. What I like about IDs is it just kind of makes the tournament go faster, you know, because we were playing less rounds in the last match. So I kind of prefer IDs. I don't know what people's opinions on that is, but I like them. Ice 9 wins the match. Is that a Rubble reading? Destroy target land, scry 2. Look, when you really want a Stone Rain, you really want a Stone Rain. This should be a good one. All right, Barbecue Hoss is on the top of your screen. Barbecue is playing Rakdos Vampires, and on the bottom of your screen, oh boy, do we have a deck list for you guys. Both of these players are 3-0 currently, so doing very, very well. Doing extremely well, actually. So yeah, we have Kethis on the play, starting us off with a Breeding Pool and a Birds of Paradise. Let's see what we have for Vampires. This Vampires deck is, if you've played any Pioneer recently, very similar to what you would expect to see in Pioneer. Bloodtithe Harvester, Vein Ripper, Sorin, Fable, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push. Slightly updated with some modern cards. We got Lightning Bolt, Terminate, Inquisition of Kozilek, but that's pretty much it. And then Fetch Lands, of course, but not a lot else here is different. We have an Oath of Nissa, which reveals Jace the Perfected Mind, and we're casting a run. Chatting. All right, so we have, what do we have? A Molten Collapse. Oh, get that Oath of Nissa out of here. I don't want to see it anymore. Oath of Nissa, kindly leave. For people who have not seen Kethis before, just to give you an idea of what's going on. So the idea of the deck is you assemble Kethis in play with a bunch of stuff in your graveyard, and you can utilize, Rona to loot away, Emery to keep milling stuff over, and then eventually get to the point where you can cast another Kethis, or exile Kethis again, rather, to keep doing the ability, and then eventually you basically mill over your entire deck. You're generating a bunch of mana through each loop with Mox Amber, and then you eventually Jace to kind of mill them out. That's the goal of the deck list, but it's a really sweet idea. Haven't seen Kethis in quite a bit, to be honest with you. Last time I saw Kethis was like 2021 Pioneer or something like that. Considering that this is a format that's only played in digital events, should Yorion be unbanned? That is an interesting idea. I don't hate that, because part of the reason why Yorion got banned, 1, was because of Arkham's Astrolabe, which is no longer with us, and 2, another reason was dexterity, right? It was just impossible to, well, not impossible, but it was much more difficult to complete a round in time when people were shuffling 80-card decks, the nature of fetch lands and such. We have a Kethis here. Now, the question is, do we have a way to kill? Does Kethis let you play legendary lands or just spells? Eats legendary... You can play lands. Cool. Okay. Nice. Oh, sorry. Abundant Growth. My bad. Yeah. I just kind of assumed that everything that says ETB draw card was busted with Yorion. But yeah, you're right. Astrolabe was banned long before Yorion. I feel like I gotta fact check myself here. Were people playing Yorion during the Astrolabe times? I can't remember. Or was Yorion not even out yet? I also, my memory is a little hazy on that. It wasn't out yet? Okay, gotcha. I see. Yeah, I know it was MH1. I just can't remember the timeline of when Ikoria came out. Chased themselves for 9. Yeah, well, so the reason I think they wanted to do that, because if they assume the Kethis is staying in play, they want more fuel in the graveyard for this next turn. Now, the issue is Barbecue Hoss does have a lot of removal spells, Fatal Push, Terminate, that kind of stuff, to be able to answer the Kethis. So that's kind of going to be the question here, is whether or not we can answer this Kethis. It turns out, if you ban all of the Horizon sets, then Modern just becomes Pioneer Plus, I guess? Right, if you think about it, right? I mean, look at the deck list that we have here for today, right? So there's Twiddle, which is basically just, Lotus Field combo. Vampires, literally a Pioneer deck. Amalia, literally a Pioneer deck. Convoke, literally a Pioneer deck. I guess there's not a good analog for Mill. What's a good Pioneer analog for Mill? I know Kethis is banned, but, you get what I'm saying. That wasn't the point that I was making.
Actually, streamer, did you know that Kethis is banned in Pioneer?
Yes, I did know that. Blue-white control? Probably just rogues, right? How much does Legacy change if you ban the Horizon and Commander sets? I mean, Legacy's like a completely different format. Alright, so we have a Vein Ripper. Now, here's the question. So, this is where it gets a little awkward. Vein Ripper has this line of text that says, whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And part of the Kethis combo involves looping Emery, but you can't loop Emery ad nauseum with this in play. So this is going to be a little weird. I assume we're milling ourselves for 15 here. Yeah, because you just want to get the graveyard full. Did we not hit a single Mox Amber? Wow, that's unlucky. Not a single Mox. There's no Emrys, right? I don't see any Emrys either. I mean, we can Jace again. Surely they hit up Mox Amber this time. I mean, there's only 13 cards. They're going to mill their whole deck, right? The Mox Ambers were all in the bottom 13 cards of the library. I mean, it's fine. I think, okay. So now the question is, how do you kill through the Vein Ripper ability? I guess you don't need to mill anymore. The only thing that matters at this point is mana generation. So how many times do you have to Jace them? Each Jace is 15, right? With 46 cards, so you have to Jace them 4 times? Do you have enough mana to Jace them 4 times? I don't know if you do, right? This is going to be interesting, because I know that you can keep Legend ruling them. I guess you probably do, right? Yeah, each 2 cards is plus 3 mana, so 1, 2, 3... Yeah, they did the math. I'm assuming it was probably enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? So 13 times 2 is 26 mana, which is, yeah, more than enough, right? That's 6 Jace casts. Okay, yeah, that's more than enough. Because each Kethis activation lets you cast all 3 Ambers. So yeah, that was enough mana. Cool. Alright, Kethis player is up a game. Let's take a look at the deck list here. We can look at sideboards real quick before we get to the post-board games. Rakdos player has 4 Leyline of the Void. Seems good against the Kethis graveyard strategy. 2 copies of Blood Moon, 2 Magus. Maybe those come in. Not a huge fan of those against Oath of Nissa and Birds of Paradise, though. Ratchet Bomb, probably not great here. Kolaghan's Command does not seem like where you want to be. And then a Shieldred, Shieldred's Edict, and 1 copy of Boil. So definitely the Leylines, maybe the Moons, maybe the Shieldred. As far as the Kethis player is concerned, against Vampires, Lantern, probably not going to want to do that. Push, okay against Bloodtithe Harvester and Preacher of the Schism, but cannot touch Vein Ripper. Lord of the Third Path does not seem like it's for this mashup. And then a host of one-ofs. Ashiok, Urtai, probably good against Vein Ripper. Haywire Might to kill Leyline seems important. Lavinia, Azorius Renegade seems not ideal. Maybe you want to go towards Boat? Not sure. Fillory Silex, and then a copy of the Scarab God. So has the ability to board in some kind of sticky threats. So maybe he wants to go towards that. The Haywire Might and the Urtai. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen. But let's see what actually happens. Yeah, that's a good point. Loren's good against ley lines, so maybe you want Loren. Because you do have to be able to answer these ley lines. Kethis player has won game number 1 on the bottom of your screen. And Barbecue Hoss on Vampires. Let's see what game 2 brings. Alright, no 1-drop here for Barbecue Hoss, likely representing a Fatal Push or a Lightning Bolt. You can safely assume if there's a black-based mid-range deck in Modern, you know, they probably got 4 ley lines. Interesting, though, Barbecue Hoss, no Leyline here. So, kept the 7-card hand without Leyline. Which you would have to assume means Sorin Vein Ripper, right? There's almost no 7 you would keep without Leyline against the Kethis deck that doesn't have Sorin Vein Ripper. So we can safely assume that's happening. Nice little start here for Winkersome. Got Portable Hole, killed the 2-drop, playing Emery, set the graveyard up a little bit, spiked another Mox Amber for some mana generation. Looking pretty good here. So, again, I'd be pretty shocked if this was not a Sorin. I guess it could be a Blood Moon? Ooh. Right, I forgot about the Portable Holes. Okay, the Kolaghan's Command's a little bit better than I thought. That was a sick Kolaghan's Command. Kill the Emery, which shuts off the Amber, and get back the Harvester, make another Blood. That was a good turn. Okay, Oath of Nissa here for Winkersome. DM it to me, Malcolm. Or Discord, whatever's easier for you. Got an Oath of Nissa, who has what is located the Rona, and then we've cast the Rona. Yeah, I'll do my best to try to answer it. Also, I got confirmation from the Magic Online person that we can do giveaways. So we might be doing some play point giveaways after this round. We'll probably try to do like one a round. They said that they said we can do up to 5. So we'll try to do one after this round. Yeah, so the idea with the Kethis combo is you eventually put your entire graveyard in your entire library in the graveyard, and then you loop Mox Ambers plus Jace to mill the opponent out. That's the combo. No, it's not going to be with that. It's just going to be I'm going to have a word. You're going to type the word in chat. Typing the word enters you into the giveaway, and then we'll roll the giveaway after. Fable the Mirror Breaker here for Barbecue Haas. So it looks like we have kept a hand without lane line that does not have Sorin, but we did have Kolaghan's Command and Fable, so just some fine stuff. Nah, nobody's playing Merfolk. There are 2 Spirits players, though, Trith, so if you're an Aether Vial enjoyer, we've got you covered. There's two Spirits players, 2 Humans players, so there's still some type of election. What do we got here? So we Otawara the Fable token. We got 4 mana, a Mox Amber, 3 unknown cards. Could be anything. Well, it appears that it's nothing, because we're passing the turn. The word is MH3. It's probably not going to be MH3. I'll tell you that much. 5 cards in hand here for Vampires. Chose to discard a Molten Collapse and another Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Is this, perhaps... No, I guess we're not even close to Heartcast Vein Ripper. Could be a Blood Moon, maybe? 4 black. Shelly? Let's go. Shelly has entered the chat. Didn't attack with Blood Tithe Harvester. Horizons and Lord of the Rings. So, supplemental products. Giga Chad. Otawara, bounce my Oath of Nissa. 4 mana Ponder, by the way. You do what you gotta do, you know? So here's the Oath. What are we looking for off the Oath? We found a Kethis. Well, that's probably the one we were looking for, huh? Maybe they think that Harvester can activate at instant speed? I mean, it's possible they don't know. If you haven't played Pioneer before, you maybe have never interacted with Blood Tithe Harvester. It's not really played outside of that format, or Standard, I guess. I know, but maybe they don't know that. Is my point. You see the pause here? Is the pause me trying to click Blood Tithe Harvester? Alright, is this lethal is the question. Do we have a Jace? We don't have a Jace yet, right? Do we have any way to mill? I guess we have Emery. But the issue is we only have 1 artifact. So can we get enough stuff in play? This is going to be tough. We also didn't find a second Emery. So I'm not really sure how we keep going here. I guess you can Tef bounce the Emery. But then the Emery still costs 2 mana. Yeah, this is awkward. Time-shifted cards are legal, yeah. There's only 3 sets. It's very, very simple. The only 3 sets that are not legal, MH1, MH2, Lord of the Rings. Everything else is fair game. And then soon to be Fallout. Is Bloomborough a standard set or a supplemental set? I think it's standard. But yeah, soon to be MH3, Bloomborough, or not Bloomborough, Fallout, Assassin's Creed, Power Rangers, Family Guy, South Park, all of the, all the collaborations, basically. Pretty sure South Park is being printed into standard. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Anyways, what did I miss? How did we get the loop going? What did I miss? So we must have Teferi bounced the Emery, right? I was not sure if we were going to have enough mana to do this, but I guess we did have enough mana. Oh, right. I always forget that Kethis has that line of text. So it discounts the Emery. I always forget that. Okay, you're right. So this is actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I guess the question is, you have had to go through some amount of Legends already. Was there enough in the graveyard? I'm assuming there was, right? I mean, I don't want to do the math here, but there you go. Congratulations to Winkersome advancing to 4-0. Congratulations. You love to see it. Like, even if they were at 6 more life, I don't think it would have mattered. All right, now the actual Pioneer deck. This is the Pioneer deck you've all been waiting for. Walking Ballista, decent against the human strategy. Although, Devotion player is kind of behind on board here. When's the last time you saw a Meddling Mage naming Cavalier of Thorns? Yeah, the answer is never. As a matter of fact, the answer is never. Could have held up Revolted Push. Oh, I see. Gotcha. That is unfortunate. It's a lesson that we all have to learn some days, you know? It's one of those things that you do once and you never do again for the rest of your life. All right, Lieutenant, putting counters on stuff. I assume we have to chump block this champion this turn. Question is, do we attack the Planeswalkers? We kinda have to threaten a little bit at Karn, right? I wonder if you just send everything at Karn? Yeah, you do. Okay. Everything being sent at Karn. So Con has the ability to just chump block all 3, but then you're only left with 3 devotion, so that seems kind of, yeah, it seems kind of bad. So we're just going to let the Karn die. Yeah, so you learn the lesson in the free-to-join tournament, so then you don't do it in the not free-to-join tournament. What do we got here? Another freebooter? Ooh, that's tough. So I wonder if Khan had let the Karn die, assuming that they were going to, like, if they have a second Karn in hand, they were assuming they were going to untap with the other Karn. And this freebooter is going to change the equation on that, definitely. So whatever spell is left over is going to get swept up, and Khan's going to need a really big top deck here. I mean, I guess you have Nykthos, Garruk, Ballista. So let's do some math, quick maths. We have 5 Devotion, which is 5 Garruk, untapped Forest Nykthos, and then 5 minus 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can activate Ballista 3 times, I think? Oh, there was a Cav in hand, okay. Oh, that's why we killed the Meddling Mage. Wait, what did I miss? Because the Freebooter just happened. Before y'all joined, the Reflector Mage the Cav. Oh, I see. Okay. Reflector Mage bounced the Cav. Gotcha. Oh, right, Freebooter's non-creature. I always forget about that. Okay, you're right. I always forget about that. This Storm is about to go crazy. So we hit Cav. Cav hit some stuff. I think we've already used Garruk, right? Yeah, we've already used Garruk. So we can go Arbor Elf there. We can Storm again. Looks like that's what we're doing, yep. So I guess your best hit is Garruk Nykthos. Okay, Overgrowth Utopia Sprawl. So, to the best of my knowledge, I believe this is going to end Con Man's turn, because we've already used the Garruk. But still not dead on board. You can chump block the champion, use the Cavs to block, say, Reflector Mage Freebooter, and then you're on the hook for 3, maybe 4 damage. And, boy, you can imagine, if the green player gets to untap, bad things will happen. Let's just say that. Bad things will happen, folks. Lots and lots of things. There definitely are upgrades. I'm not saying that they're just straight up Pioneer decks, right? But they do resemble Pioneer decks quite a bit. What was it labeled as? I think it was this labeled as Naya. Love 61 card burn. All right, big attack here. Champion. Champion's getting through, huh? We're taking 11. Is this going after us? Oh, it's going after Garruk, okay. So we're going to eat those 2, let the Garruk die. Yeah, you don't need the Garruk. You have infinite mana anyways. The quick devotion count, 3, 6, 9, 12. So this taps for... How much mana does this land tap for? 6? Yeah, so 6. 6 minus 2 is 4, plus 12 is 16. This is 16 mana by itself, just these 2. Oh! Okay. Well, the Ballista covers that, right? Picking Amalia to win. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's gotta be either Amalia or... Honestly, I like that Kethis deck. I think that Kethis deck is the sleeper here. Yeah, the Arbor Elf, too. So you can just go, like, tap this, untap this, 12 mana, put 2 counters on Ballista, 4 floating, kill this, 4 minus 2... Oh, my god. Even more mana. Ballista pump, kill blockers... Well, it seems like it probably was enough. So the person that messaged me, they said that what they would do is they would just drop the play points in your account. So all I need from whoever wins the giveaway, I just need your Magical Mind screen name. Then I can I think they'll just drop the play points in your account. Thanks again for playing, Duncan. Appreciate you as always. Hope you had fun. All right, we came back here to quite the start from humans. Turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Champion Freebooter. Also, it's available on Melee. So if you didn't want it to be public information, you probably shouldn't have a Melee account. Ooh, Outland Liberator. That can go ahead and take out the Overgrowth. I would assume you just do it now, right? Rather than wait. I guess we know the hand. We know most of the hand. So the hand is birds. Man, not a great hand. The Karn was taken and the Overgrowth was cast, so it's just lands and birds. Not great here for Khan. 4 mana. What did we find? We found a Garruk. I mean, Garruk's not bad. Okay, Wall of Roots. Okay, we're making mana, but we don't have... it doesn't appear that we have a Payoff or a Nykthos. 1 card in hand here for Khan. I believe the Forests have been played. So, to the best of my knowledge, I don't believe we know what the last card is. What is the card in the graveyard? Overgrowth. It's a 3 mana aura enchant land that lets your land provide an additional 2 green when it's tapped for mana. That's kind of backbreaking. Now we don't have any good blocker for the Garruk. 1 more forest. Was it 3 revealed? Okay, well in that case... Oh, right, because the 2 draw steps were Utopia, Sprawl, Garruk. So, yeah, that would make sense. So yeah, rough spot. Garruk is probably going to bite the dust, and you have a forest in hand along with a Wall of Roots that you can't cast, and you're top decking with no Nykthos, no Garruk in play. It's got to be a Cav, right? Almost certainly has to start with Cav. Not quite. So last card is Wall of Roots, we know that for a fact. And Heraclino still has 3 cards in hand. You'd have to imagine this is a game that is heavily in Heraclinos' favor. Let's see what we got. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Pretty minor. You have enough mana where you probably don't care that much about Thalia. 5, attack for 8 here. That is half of 16. Quick maths. It's going to put Khan down to 8, and big top deck here. Again, it probably has to start with Cav. Like Cav into Nykthos plus Storm. We have drawn a forest. I guess, theoretically, we probably have 1 more draw step. Time left in the round? Oh, we still got 14 minutes, we're fine. Plenty of time left in the round. Got it. See, I mentioned Heraclinos earlier, and then I totally forgot about that. That's gotta be lethal, right? We block the champion in a 3. Take 6, go to 2. I mean, just drawing dead at this point, right? Even if you cav into perfects, I don't think it's enough. Alright, definitely not enough. Heraclinos advancing